Cause your vibe may be different than shine in your eyes what I'm missing. Your body Ferrari, but your mind is my interest. You finding your find in the sky, we gon' ride the ecliptic like a Mercury transit.
Peace, y'all. Today with Star Card Astrology, and I'm here to give you daily astrology guidance for June 15th, 2022. Let's get straight into it, y'all. All right, so we have. I always start with the sun because I'm a Leo, okay? Just so everybody knows, I don't just pop into the most important things of the chart. I always start with the sun. I like to give the sun the intro, okay? So 24 degrees. Gemini right now, which is a marvelous thing. It's a marvelous thing, yeah. Okay. And we have Mercury ingressing further into Gemini, which is where it's at home. So that's awesome, right? That is awesome. But it's still making this semi-square with Jupiter. No, sorry. I'm sorry. I messed that up. It's not making a semi-square with Jupiter. It's making a semi-square with Mars. Okay? So, and on top of that, Mars has just passed over Chiron. It has just passed over Chiron. Moving. So the conjunction, the exact conjunction is over. So we really should be, let me do a better little arrow here. So we have Chiron, or Mars, moving over Chiron now, okay? So this means basically in the first house, right? In the house of Aries, where Mars is overpowered, not overpowered, but at home. So it's the most powerful. It's more powerful than even the biggest benefic we have with it, which is Jupiter, right? So this is where we have to move forward. We have to be looking towards the future, but not just the future of the things we're going to do, because Mars in Aries is, okay, let's take action. But it is, since it just met up with Chiron, this is where, okay, can we leave all of our past emotional baggage, or the things that we've been holding on to about relationships that didn't work, situations that didn't work, things we tried to make happen that didn't work, just where the ego is still holding on, right? This is where we're breaking apart from that now. So, like I've kept saying, if we've been doing that work, that ego work, that shadow work, where we're like, okay, this hasn't been working for me. I want it to work, but it hasn't really. So now it's time for me to take a new step forward. And Mars moving forward now, past this conjunction, is giving us that power to be able to do these things, okay? As it gets ready to, keep moving forward and conjunct Uranus pretty soon here. We still have Venus that's chilling at 21 degrees Taurus, still conjunct the North Node, but not exactly on top of it. Okay, so really, where is our value? I mean, our value needs to be of the highest value right now, and that's where we can kind of get lost, because if we're not doing the first house work, this is the first house, right? This right here is the first house, where we can identify, right? We have to make a choice, right? And this is where a lot of people fuck it up, okay? Because you have to make a choice. Like, you have to be like, all right, um, I used to race cars, but now I, you know, destroyed a bunch of tendons in my hand and I can't really hold the wheel anymore. So now I can't race. So now what am I going to do? How am I going to move forward? Our soul wants to, or at least our emotional body wants to hold on to what we felt like we were supposed to be doing. But this is where the universe is asking us to be realistic, right? So, okay, what now can I identify with? What is still going to bring me that value? Now, then we can move on to the second house, right? So it's like, first house, am I identifying? And with Chiron here, well, what am I identifying with that I shouldn't no longer identify with? So if we use the same analogy, it's like, okay, race car driver, can't use their hand the same, can't grip the wheel, whether you're NASCAR, Formula One, doesn't really matter, Formula E, that's even more rigorous. I mean, either one is pretty crazy, right? NASCAR, you're holding it in the same direction for a long time. Formula One, you're going back and forth, back and forth. So it's still a lot of work on your hands. But what can you do that's going to bring you value? What would that race car driver do with his life now that could bring him value in the years moving forward? Because now this is almost like rebirth, right? Okay, now I'm rebirthing because, okay, this is my first house and where we come in and I have to identify with reality. Originally, this person identified as a race car driver. Now they can't be that anymore. Have they lost their identity? No. They can use their reputation, right? Especially with all of this Venus energy, all of this Taurus energy, and say, hey, okay, I can't race, but maybe I can teach up and comers how to race. That way I feel fulfilled. Maybe I can be a coach to one of the Formula One teams and guide them to victory. That way I still have my value. That way I play a part in the victory. That way I play a part in the in the racing, right? Especially with Algol still here at 26 degrees, like, oh, that was terrible. One day I'll get really good at doing this. As you can tell, I'm not good at drawing. Okay, so Algol, boom, 26 degrees. All right. So this is we need to make sure we're not delusional about our value. We need to make sure that we're realizing our true value, and anybody who's not realizing our true value, we have to move forward away from that, because that can be detrimental. And then what happens? We never make it to the third house, where Mercury is at home asking us to be able to communicate and figure out this new identity and this value that our soul, the sun, is here as well with. Okay? So these are the times where, okay, yeah, we have all this supportive energy to help us figure out Gemini, our value, Taurus, but it starts in Aries with Mars on how we identify, on what we're identifying with. Okay? And that's really like the highlights of, these upcoming transits, until we hit the next eclipse season, right? We have, the moon is 10 degrees off of Pluto in Capricorn. So emotionally, today we're feeling as if, if we're achieving and we're moving forward in what we know is our value and what our mission is, then emotionally we'll be stable, right? Because this is an earth sign. So, we'll feel emotionally stable, but if not, then, if we're still trying to figure out, completely from square one, then it could feel heavy today, and it probably did feel heavy for some people. But really, staying busy and staying proactive on trying to figure these things out is really the best remedy for today, and I hope that is how we all have been moving. Um, yeah, really, that is the main thing here, because we do have Saturn bearing down on the Sun for the next couple of days, but it is retrograde in Aquarius. But that is, essentially its old home, one of its old homes here. So, and the Sun isn't necessarily at home. It likes Gemini, but it's not at home. So I would say, the Saturn is a little bit more powerful, and so it would be kind of bearing down here on the Sun. Okay, especially with Neptune square the Sun here too. This is where we can kind of get caught up in, well, what is our soul's purpose, right? It, the Sun is making a trine, which is a good aspect, but Saturn itself is asking us to put in work, to grind, right? And in Aquarius, it's okay, we'll put in that work to figure these things out and experiment. And I'm going to keep harping on this as we do these dailies, because that's what these charts are saying right now. Okay? And with Saturn in Aquarius, this can also be where it's like, okay, well, we're trying to find a new job, and we have to apply to a lot of different jobs. And some jobs don't respond, and some jobs are going to take longer, right? Because Saturn's retrograde. So some jobs might take longer to respond, and eventually, you'll get what you're looking for. You'll get your answer. Okay. But these are the times where, I always push, figure out what your passion is and build a company or a brand around it. Don't run the same rat race your entire life. It's just, that's what keeps a lot of people miserable. It keeps them from really exploring their true soul's purpose here. Okay? So, and Venus is here conjunct the North Node, accentuating these things. So it's like our value, our financial freedom lies in our value, right? I'll give an example, right? I probably have said this before, but I'll say it again. Okay, I was heavily invested in crypto not at the beginning, but right as the first bull market or the second bull market really took off. Okay, I got into Cardano pretty early, before it even hit $1. Okay, I had some Ethereum, but my biggest holding was Cardano. And luckily I got in when I got in. It shot up and made me a good amount of money. Not amazing amounts of money, but a lot more than what I had put in. Let's put it like that. Okay, I put what I could. And that's the thing about crypto is you put in what you are okay losing. You don't put your whole life savings in and wish for the best, and then you're forced to take this money out to pay bills, and then you see a crash like we do now, we see a bear market like we do now, and get caught up, right? And then you don't realize profits because you need the funds. You don't put in funds that you need. It's not how that works. Okay, investments is money that you don't need, that you want to make work for you, because if it can't work for you in the short term, it has to work for you in the long term. If you're looking for a get-rich scheme, then go to a pyramid scheme and scam people, and I don't recommend that either. I'm not saying that you should do that. I'm just saying don't be dumb. That's all that I'm saying. Okay? So, to continue my story, I constantly do research, especially at that time I was heavily invested, so I was constantly doing research daily on crypto and the crypto that I had, and anything potentially that I could maybe transfer some of these profits to and then gain more profits. And I trusted my intuition. I didn't really have a lot of indicators that was telling me, hey, pull out now. Um, I just trusted my intuition, and I was like, well, I'm placing all this value in other things, and eventually I have to place my value in myself because I had ran into other issues with placing my value into other people around me and building companies for them, and that fell through. So my whole thing was, okay, well, I need to build my own company. I have to build my own brand. So yeah, I invested and placed my value in other places, but then when it became time, I brought that back to me and then invested in myself. Okay? And that is what got me here today to be able to do what I'm doing now. This tapestry is on my studio's um, vocal booth, isolation booth. Okay, that I purchased with that Cardano money that I wouldn't have had if I didn't invest it and take it out at the time that I knew was necessary for me to start investing more in myself in something tangible. Okay, um, if you're a gambler and you want to do the extra research, you can get into longing and shorting Ethereum and Bitcoin and make a lot of money doing that. But and with the greater risk comes the reward. But I would rather take the risk in me because then it's in my hands. I wake up every day and I have to do the work. It's not up to other people who have to come in and now dump money into whatever or take money out, and now I have to respond to them. This is all me. I choose when I come up and do this. I choose when I work on music. I choose what I want to do, what contests I want to enter in, where I want to travel to, when I want to take a client for a natal chart reading, how much I want to charge. All that is in my hands. All of that is in my value now. Because I identified with, okay, well, you know what? I make music. I make a more spiritual based music. My entire career, you can go back and look in 2013. Change the World was my first real project, technical album, whatever. I made it really a mixtape, really, with the remixes that I put in there. But I've always done it like that. And I could show you songs from when I was 15, 17, whatever, that I was always speaking into these things. I was always talking about law of attraction. I was always talking about, multiverses and things like this. And this was always my path. So obviously I have always been inspired by the ones who have done it better and greater and before me. And all of my astrology has been taught to me indirectly or directly by the Leo King David Palmer. So to me, that's the greatest astrologer of our time. And I am blessed to have been able to take live classes. I've done 4 of his courses up until this point, which I didn't even realize. I thought I did 3, but then I realized I did one of his old ones from back in like 2016 or something like that. Regardless, okay? I've been doing this longer than I even thought. Who would have thought I'd be here? So now, astrology fits my brand. It fits what I'm doing. All right? And as will the next things that I am incorporating that is going to come forward here. Okay? So that's the thing, is that's why I use the racer analogy at the beginning, right? Because everything has to be connected to your sole purpose and your initial goal of what you want to do or what you're supposed to do here on this earth. Okay? And if you're still unsure about those things and why you're here, then you can contact me for a reading and I will help you get in depth into those things, because there's ways to look at your chart and things that are not actually on the chart that can give you some clarity. Okay? So, let's see what the cards have to say for today, even though I'm doing this at the end of the day. And I'm going to try to get back on track and do these a little earlier. Since I'm on the East Coast, I'll probably start trying to do them midday. but it's really hot in Florida. Humidity's been crazy. It's the stormy season, and I do not have air conditioning in here. So that's why I tend to do it at night, because it's cooler. I'm not dripping sweat. Try to be as professional as possible. Oh my goodness. I just realized that I have not had
actual mic on this whole time. Check. Yeah, so I didn't have the mic on this whole time, guys. So if it's been low, it's because it was on the built-in mic on my laptop. I don't know why it doesn't default to the same mic every time, but hey, it's just me doing this. Bear with me. I'm going to try to make sure every video is consistent. Oh, man, that's kind of annoying. But, that's life. We just work through the kinks, just fix it in real time and move forward. There's no reason to get hung up, caught up, emotionally distraught and put yourself down. And there's no reason for all of that, okay? We all are humans. We all make mistakes. We're all here to learn. We're all here to get better and become better people, okay? So don't be so hard on yourself unless you're just sitting around doing nothing, letting life pass you by. She just keeps on passing me by. Who knows who made that song? Drop it in the comments. Maybe you'll get a free reading if you know. She keeps on passing me by. Dog, I thought I had it set on the right mic, but that's life. That's life. Gotta let it go. All right, y'all. Cut it, and here we go. All right, so we have this wonderful, beautiful Queen of Swords. So this is asking us to think swiftly, right? Be a quick thinker on our feet. But that means to me that we need to be perceptive and move forward into, well, if I haven't figured out what I'm supposed to be doing, this is where we should be taking that time to do those things. This is where we need to be relying on our inner intuition and our confidence, okay? The Queen of Swords is confident. She's not sitting there. It's not reversed, okay? She's not sitting there hesitating. She knows what she's doing, where she's going to battle, where her king's at, where her princess and prince is at. She knows exactly what's going down. And she knows, well, hey, if I got to go to war, I'm going to war. I'm the Queen of Swords. Okay? So this is where we got to make sure that we're going to the right wars for ourselves and for our true value. Okay? So I hope that helps. And until next time, one love. Cause your vibe may be different and shine in your eyes what I'm missing. Your body Ferrari, but your mind is my interest. You finding the sky, we gon' ride the